Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to the Inclined Thinkers. I am Sadiq, your chemistry teacher. Welcome to the chapter number 7 of the electrochemistry. Respected students, today we are going to discuss the electrolytic cell, construction of the electrolytic cell, working of an electrolytic cell, and furthermore in the construction or in the working of an electrolytic cell we will discuss the electrolysis of the sodium chloride and the electrolysis of the water. I am repeating again that we will discuss today the electrolytic cell, construction of the electrolytic cell, working of the electrolytic cell, and furthermore in the working of the electrolytic cell we will discuss the electrolysis of the sodium chloride and water. First of all, we will see what is the electrolytic cell, a type of the chemical cell in which the non-spontaneous reaction takes place when current is passed through the solution. It is called an electrolytic cell. First of all, we will see what is electrolytic cell and which process is taken place in the electrolytic cell. So it should be very clear, in the electrolytic cell there is a non-spontaneous reaction taken place. So if we will see the wording of the definition, so we can say it is basically a type of the chemical cell or electrochemical cell in which non-spontaneous reaction takes place when current is passed through the solutions, but keep in mind that we use the battery in the electrolytic cell. So in this process of the electrolytic cell, the famous process is used. That process is called electrolysis. So in the electrolysis process or in the electrolytic cell, the electrolysis process is taken place. So we can say we keep 2 points in our mind. First of all, in the electrolytic cell there will be electrolysis of the solution, and next one, in the non-spontaneous reaction will be taken place. So we will see now what is the electrolysis. As it is very clear from the point, this basically it is the combination of the two words. First of is electro and other is lysis. It's mean we can say it is the combination of the two words. First of all is electro and other is lysis. Electrolysis mean electro mean electricity and lysis mean breakage. In other words, we can say the breakage, or you can say the decomposition of any solution into its ions, is called electrolysis. So we will say that in the context of the definitions, it is defined as the chemical decomposition of the compound into its components by passing through the electricity through the solutions of a compound or in the molten state of the compound is called electrolysis. When we are saying about the wording of the slide, so we can say that it is defined as the chemical decomposition of the compound into its components by passing the current through the solution of the compound or in the molten state of the compound. When we see the example, there are two famous examples. One of them is called Dawn cell and other is called Nelson cell. On the next slide, we will see the construction of the electrolytic cell. First of all, this is the electrolytic cell, and we will see in the context of the electrolytic cell, we will see the first of all, this is the anode and this is cathode. Cathode is negatively charged and anode is positively charged. Keep it in the mind that in the electrolytic cell, the anode is positive and cathode is negative. But keep in the mind, in the galvanic cell the connections are opposite. It's mean anode will be negative and cathode will be positive. We have a cell that is electrolytic cell, right? We have the two electrodes. One of them is called cathode, that is negatively charged, and other is called anode, that is positively charged. We have connected it with the battery, and there is a flow of the current or the electrons from the anode to the cathode. This is the point that you have keep in your mind. Now we are seeing the word that electrolytic cell consists of the solution of the electrolyte, and two electrodes are dipped in it. One of them will be called cathode and another is called anode. Two electrodes are connected with it. One of them is called anode and other is called cathode. So keeping in the mind that electrodes connected to the positive terminal is called anode. It's mean any electrode in the electrolytic cell that is connected to the positive terminal, that is called anode, and the other electrode that is connected to the negative terminal, that is called cathode. We are going on the next slide. Now we are seeing the function or the working of the electrolytic cell. First of all, keep in the mind that anion is basically a negatively charged, and on the anion there will be anode. At the anode there will be the loss of the electron or lose of electron. As we are familiar that loss of electron is called oxidation, so we can say that there will be oxidation at the anode. Furthermore, when we are working or when we are discussing the functions of the cathode in this context of the electrolytic cell, we see cations basically are the positively charged. Furthermore, cations will be at the cathode, and cations gains the electrons basically, and gain of electron is called reduction. So we can say that reduction will be taken place at the cathode. I have make the two important keys for remembrance which can help us for the remembrance of the reactions of the cathode and anode in the context of the oxidation and reduction. Let's see the last point. There are three words in the start of the anode, that is ANO, and oxidation, that is also OXI. So we can say that the word anoxy, AN stands for anode and OX stands for oxidation. So we can say from this key of the anoxy, we can say that oxidation is always taking place at the anode. And in the context of the cathode, we see there are the three words, three letters. Those are CAT, cat. And in the context of the reduction, there are also three letters, that is called RED, red. So the key will be cat, red. Cat stands for cathode and red stands for reduction. On the next slide, we are going to discuss the theoretical functions, or we will explain the theory that I have already discussed on the previous slide with you, that when electric current is applied from the battery, the ions in the electrolyte migrate towards their respective electrode. It's mean when we connected the cells with the battery, it's mean cathode and anode gain the relevant ion, that is basically anions and cations. So first of all, we will see the function of the anode. The anions are the basically negatively charged. It's mean anions have negative charge and move towards the cathode which has a positive charge, right? And discharge, thereby losing of their electrons. Thus oxidation takes place at anode. Oxidation is taken place at the anode. I am explaining you again that at the anode, anion will be collected at the anode which has a positive charge, and anions have the negative charge. On the other context, when we will discuss the functions of the cathode, it's mean cations basically are the positively charged. Cations moves towards the cathode. Why? Because cations are positively charged and move towards the cathode which is a negatively charged. So we can say that cations gains the electrons, and gain of electron is called reduction. It's mean reduction will be taken place at the cathode. As I have already discussed with you that the key, the name of the key, that is called cat red. Cat red mean reduction always taking place at the cathode. Now we will see the electrolysis of the sodium chloride. There are 2 points of the electrolytic cell. One of them is called electrolysis of the sodium chloride, and other is called the electrolysis of the water. Now we will see the electrolysis of the sodium chloride. In the context of the electrolysis, it is very obvious or clear that sodium chloride will be decomposed. And now we will discuss what is happened. This is basically a sodium chloride. When current will be passed, it means this bond will be broken at this place. So sodium ion and chloride ion in the shape of the liquid will be separated with one another. As we are discussing the solutions in the electrolytic cell, it means the ionization will be taking place in the form of the liquid ions. So first of all, we will see what's happened at the anode. As I have already discussed with you that the keyword that is anoxy, it's mean oxidation will be taken place at the anode. And what is oxidation in the context of the electron? The loss or the loss of the electron is called oxidation. This is a chlorine, right? In the context of the chloride ion, right? It will be as a chlorine gas from the liquid to the gaseous state. It will lose the two electrons, right? The two chloride ions lose the two electrons, will come into the chlorine molecule, that is Cl2. At the in the context of the cathode, we will see the reduction will be taken place at the cathode. This is the sodium, which is a positively charged, and it will gain the two electrons. When it will gain the two electrons, it will become into the atomic state, that is 2Na. And what's happened with the overall chemical reaction? This is the sodium ion and this is the chloride ion. So in this context, we will see that it will be a sodium and it will be a chlorine. So both will be into the stable state. On the next slide, we will discuss the electrolysis of the water. We will see the wording. First of all, what's happened with the wording. Pure water is basically the weak electrolyte. Please keep in your mind that pure water is a weak electrolyte. It ionizes the water into a very small extent or into the small amount of the water. So when the concentration of the hydrogen ions, yani H positive ion, and hydroxyl ion, OH negative ion, both will be at 10 raised power minus 7 mole per decimeter cube respectively. It means the concentration of the hydrogen ion will be 10 raised power minus 7 mole per decimeter cube, as well as hydroxyl ion has a concentration of 10 raised power minus 7 mole per decimeter cube. So both have the equal concentration of H positive ion and OH negative ion. Now we will see this is the water. We can write water as 4HOH and 4H2O, right? In this context, this bond will be broken at this place and 4 hydrogen ion and 4 hydroxyl ion will be formed. Both the reactions that I have mentioned in the below and mentioned in the above of this slide, both are the same. But the point keep in your mind, it will be decomposes when the acid will be added into the water. So it will be electrolyze and give the hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion. Let's see the diagram. Electrolytic cell showing the electrolysis of the water. Students, let's see. This is basically cathode, which is a negatively charged, and anode, which is a positively charged. I have already clear with you that if the anode has positive charge and cathode has negative charge, it means it's a electrolytic cell. We have connected with the battery, and platinum electrodes are of the cathode and anode. In this context, we see water and hydrogen gas will be evolved and oxygen gas will be evolved. Now we will see the wording. When electric current is passed through the acidified water, OH negative ions moves towards the anode, which is a positively charged, and H positive ion, that is cations, move towards the negative electrode, that is cathode, and discharge take place at these electrodes. They produce the oxygen and hydrogen gas respectively. Now we will see the basically the functions of the decomposition. As I have already explained with you that oxidation always take place at the anode with the help of the key that is called anoxy. So 4OH or 4 hydroxyl ion will be further decomposed, form the water in the liquid, that will be in the liquid state, and furthermore oxygen is produced and 4 electrons will be released, and the release or the loss of the electron is called oxidation. Furthermore, 4 hydrogen ion will gain the 4 electrons, right, and it will form the 4 hydrogen atomic molecules in the context of the gas. These 4 hydrogen atoms will be converted into the 2 hydrogen molecules, right, and this reaction will be taken place at the cathode, and the overall reaction will be 2 water molecules will be converted into the 2 hydrogen molecule and 1 oxygen molecule. Respected students, this was the function of the electrolytic cell, in which we have discussed the different context of the electrolysis of the sodium chloride and electrolysis of the water. Thank you very much, students.